Ladies and gentlemen, you're not tired, you're distracted, you're not resting, you're hiding. You say you wanted the success, the breakthrough, the clarity, but every time life gets hard, you go back to sleep. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you check out. This message isn't for the faint-hearted. This is for the ones who know there's more. You feel it every day, that pull, that discomfort, that quiet frustration whispering, I was made for more than this. But vision without action is a dream, and sleep is the enemy of destiny. So I came to wake you up because your future is waiting, and it won't wait forever. Comfort is the coffin where vision goes to die. At first glance, comfort feels good. It's warm, familiar, and safe. It doesn't challenge you, it doesn't push back, but that's exactly why it's dangerous. Comfort is deceptive. It disguises itself as peace, but it's really a prison with invisible bars. It lulls you into routines that serve survival, not success. You wake up, do just enough, avoid the discomfort of growth, and tell yourself you're okay because at least nothing is falling apart. But deep down, you feel it. The emptiness, the ache of potential going to waste, the quiet regret that shows up when the world gets quiet. Comfort tells you it's okay to wait, to delay, to play it safe. It convinces you that your goals can be postponed, that your purpose can be paused. It says, rest now, you deserve it. Even when you haven't pushed yourself yet, it rewards you with temporary ease in exchange for permanent loss, because every day you stay comfortable, your vision fades. Your fire dims, your hunger dies, you stop reaching, you stop believing, and eventually you stop seeing. Vision is birthed in discomfort. It's born when you're stretched, pressured, and tested. When you have to ask hard questions, make bold moves, take scary steps. Comfort avoids all that. It says, you don't need to change, you don't need to grow, just stay here where it's safe. But what's safe is not always what's right, and what's easy is almost never what's best. Comfort wants you quiet, vision wants you loud. Comfort wants you still, vision wants you in motion. Comfort says not now, a vision screams it's time. You can't chase vision and cling to comfort, they don't walk together. One requires sacrifice, the other demands nothing, but that nothingness costs you everything. Your dreams decay in comfort, your ambition suffocates, your creativity starves, you start to shrink. Not because you're incapable, but because you've chosen the safety of the familiar over the risk of the unknown. You chose to coast when you were called to climb. You chose to settle when you were meant to soar. People don't lose their vision because they're weak. They lose it because they're too comfortable. They fall in love with convenience. They prioritize feelings over focus, and they forget that anything worthwhile has a cost. That vision, real vision, asks you to get uncomfortable, to wake up earlier, to stay up later, to say no to things that feel good so you can say yes to what matters most. It asks you to fight against the very thing that's keeping you stuck, your addiction to ease. The world will never hand you your vision. It won't show up while you're sleeping through life. You have to wake up on purpose. You have to disrupt your patterns, interrupt your distractions, and violently reject anything that feeds your comfort but starves your calling. That means getting up when you don't feel like it. That means doing the work nobody sees so you can one day live the results everybody talks about. That means leaving behind the habits, people, and places that keep you small, even when it hurts. Vision is waiting, but it's not waiting in the comfortable places. It's in the grind, it's in the unknown, it's in the early mornings, the quiet nights, the lonely sacrifices, and the reason most people never find it is because they won't leave their comfort zone to go look. They want results, but not the discomfort that produces them. They want change, but they don't want to be challenged. They want the crown without the cross, but you don't get both. You don't get power without pressure. You don't get purpose without pain. You can't fix your vision with closed eyes and a closed mind. Vision is not a dream you have while sleeping. It's a reality you pursue when you're fully awake. It requires awareness, clarity, and openness. But so many people want change without confrontation. They want elevation without examination. They walk through life with their eyes half shut, refusing to look at the truth, avoiding the mirror, ignoring the signs. And worse, they close their minds to anything that challenges their current way of thinking. But you can't grow if you're not willing to see. You can't move forward if you keep blinding yourself to the areas you need to fix. Fixing your vision starts with the willingness to see things as they are, not as you wish they were. It demands brutal honesty. It forces you to ask hard questions. Where am I? What am I doing with my life? Am I walking in purpose or just surviving? These aren't comfortable questions. That's why most people avoid them. They prefer the illusion over the truth. They'd rather stay asleep than face the discomfort of waking up to their own neglect, fear, laziness, or compromise. But nothing changes until you open your eyes. Nothing heals until you admit what's broken. Having your eyes open is one thing, but without an open mind, you're still blind. A closed mind keeps you trapped in yesterday's thinking. It refuses correction, it resists wisdom, it rejects accountability. You hear advice, but you don't absorb it. You see opportunities, but you don't act on them. You repeat the same cycles not because you're cursed, but because you refuse to change the way you think. A closed mind says, I already know. An open mind says, I'm willing to learn. One builds walls, the other builds bridges. Vision can't survive in a mind that's already made up, because true vision stretches you. It calls you higher, it introduces new ways of thinking. It exposes the lies you've believed and replaces them with truth. But if your mind is shut tight, locked behind pride, fear, or stubbornness, then even the most powerful vision will die in silence. It won't break through, not because it isn't strong enough, but because you won't let it. You have to open the door. You have to be willing to unlearn what no longer serves you. You have to be humble enough to admit when you've been wrong, when you've been stuck, when you've been looking through a distorted lens. Fixing your vision isn't about just seeing where you're going. It's about understanding who you need to become to get there. That takes more than eyesight, that takes insight, it takes courage, it takes a renewed mind, it takes the ability to see beyond your circumstances, beyond your limitations, beyond your past. It takes a mindset that says, I don't care how it's always been, I care about how it could be. It's about refusing to be defined by what's familiar and daring to step into what's possible. You can't see clearly when your mind is cluttered. When it's filled with doubts, distractions, and defeatist thoughts, everything looks foggy. Your decisions become reactive instead of intentional. Your goals become vague. Your passion fades. That's why fixing your vision starts with clearing the mental space. It means shutting off the noise, cutting off toxic inputs, detoxing your thinking. It means reprogramming your mind for clarity, focus, and truth. Only then can you start to see what's real, what's possible, and what's next. Some people are walking through life eyes wide shut. They appear awake, but they're asleep inside. They go through the motions but have no direction. They respond but they don't reflect. They hear but they don't listen. That's what happens when your eyes are open but your mind is closed. You miss the message. You miss the moment. You miss the movement meant to take you to your next level. Discipline wakes you up when motivation hits snooze. Motivation is fleeting. It's the high that comes after watching a powerful video, hearing an inspiring story, or having a breakthrough thought. It gets your heart racing and your ideas flowing, but it rarely lasts. Motivation is a spark. It can light a fire, but it can't keep it burning. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the structure, the commitment, the relentless choice to show up even when you don't feel like it. It's the alarm clock that doesn't care if you're tired. It's the reason you keep going when every excuse is screaming at you to stop. The problem is too many people rely on motivation to change their lives. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel excited. They wait for the mood to strike. But life doesn't work like that. Destiny doesn't wait for your feelings to align. Purpose doesn't operate on your emotional calendar. That's why the people who build anything meaningful in life aren't always the most motivated. They're the most disciplined. They understand that feelings are inconsistent, but habits are powerful. They understand that progress comes from doing the right thing consistently, not just when you're inspired. Discipline is the muscle that strengthens every time you choose action over excuses. It grows when you honor your commitments, not your comfort. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it's not fun, but it is effective. Discipline is what makes you study when others are relaxing. It's what makes you train when your body wants to quit. It's what pushes you to speak up, to show up, to stand tall, again and again, regardless of who's watching or how you feel. It is the silent force behind every breakthrough, every goal achieved, every mountain climbed. When motivation hits snooze, most people stop. They take that as a sign to rest, to delay, to postpone their progress. But discipline doesn't wait for motivation to return. It doesn't need a pep talk. It doesn't need applause. Discipline is rooted in decision, not emotion. It's a mindset that says, I'm doing this because I said I would, not because it feels good right now, and that mindset separates those who talk from those who do. It separates dreamers from doers. It separates average from excellence. Discipline is also the foundation of self-respect. Every time you follow through, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one notices, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you can be counted on, and that internal trust is priceless. It's what keeps you going when nothing else makes sense. It's what gives you clarity when everything feels chaotic. It's what allows you to stand firm when the world around you wavers. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to have all the answers. But if you're disciplined, if you're consistent, if you're willing to do what others won't, then your vision will come to life. Because success doesn't go to the most excited. It goes to the most committed. It goes to the one who works while others wait, who pushes while others pause, who builds while others talk. That's what discipline does. It shows up again and again until the results show up too. You will have days when motivation disappears, when you feel tired, uninspired, overwhelmed, when every part of you wants to give up. That's when discipline steps in. That's when it carries you. That's when it becomes the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel, it cares who you're becoming. It cares about the vision you said you wanted. And it's willing to do the work to get you there. Vision demands movement, not just dreams, but decisions. You can have the clearest picture of where you want to go, the boldest imagination, the most detailed plan. But if you don't move, none of it matters. Vision without movement is a fantasy. It's empty potential. It's the kind of hope that makes you feel good in the moment, but keeps you stuck in the same place year after year. There are people carrying powerful visions in their hearts, visions that could change their lives, their families, even the world, but they haven't taken the first step. They've replaced action with overthinking, motion with hesitation, and results with regret. Movement is what transforms vision into reality. It's the hard, deliberate steps you take daily that breathe life into what you see in your mind. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's making the phone call you're scared to make. It's saying no to distractions and yes to discipline. Dreams are free, but the journey toward them is not. Movement is the price you pay with effort, with sacrifice, with consistency. That's the part most people avoid. They love the idea of the vision, but hate the weight of responsibility that comes with chasing it. Decisions are where movement begins. And not just big, dramatic decisions, but the small ones made over and over again. Every yes and every no shapes your direction. Choosing to stay focused, choosing to take the risk, choosing to shut out the noise. These are the building blocks of progress. People wait for some sign or moment that tells them when it's time, but the truth is, the moment you decide to move, that's the sign. Vision doesn't wait for convenience. It waits for commitment. Movement doesn't mean speed. It doesn't mean perfection. It means momentum. One step, one choice, one bold act of faith. That's how you build a life of purpose. That's how you wake up from mediocrity. You don't have to see the entire path. You just have to take the next right step. But that step requires courage. It requires intention. It requires the ability to silence the voices of fear, doubt, and comfort long enough to choose progress over paralysis. You can't keep dreaming and never deciding. You can't keep talking and never walking. Vision demands a response, not just belief, but behavior, not just potential, but process. Every time you delay a decision, your vision suffers. Every time you choose convenience over consistency, your progress slows. You don't drift into your purpose, you decide into it. You fight for it. You move toward it with urgency, with fire, with focus. Movement also separates those who want from those who will. Everybody wants something. Few are willing to move for it. They stay stuck in the comfort of intention, always planning, always preparing, but never producing. They convince themselves that thinking about it is the same as acting on it. But vision doesn't respect wishful thinking. It responds to execution. It grows in motion. It expands when you act, and the longer you wait, the weaker your vision becomes. Not because it wasn't real, but because you never fed it with movement. Vision challenges you to lead your life with purpose, not passivity. To make daily decisions that align with where you're going, not just where you've been. That's the true test, whether you're willing to move when it's inconvenient, to decide when it's risky, to commit even when there's no guarantee. Because your vision isn't just about what you see, it's about what you're willing to do. It's about translating the dream in your mind into discipline in your day. It's about matching your ambition with action, your passion with persistence, your hope with hard choices.